It's that time of the week. We will answer 3 audience questions today. Friday at the end of the show, instead of just playing a voicemail, what I like to do is actually answer in a little more detail 3 different questions from the audience. You can, of course, submit these questions by voicemail. The number is 2192 David P. Here is a voicemail submission. This is an interesting one.
David, I was wondering, what are your thoughts on public nudity? Thank you.
Okay, here's the deal. Broadly speaking, Lewis, I don't really have a problem with public nudity, right? I mean, in Europe, you go to the beach. Basically, every beach is a topless beach. I don't know that you could be walking around completely nude, but to be honest, even if that's not formally allowed, I doubt anyone would really even care because in a lot of this, on a lot of our planet, Lewis, the one planet we currently reside on, nudity is just not really a big deal, right? I mean, if you look at nudity in media in Europe and South America, not really a big deal. You look at all sorts of different groups that are more used to living together in a way where nudity is just more of a day-to-day utilitarian thing. Nudity is just not really a big deal. So as a general thing, I don't really have a problem with public nudity. I don't have a problem with nudity on television. When Janet Jackson's breast came out, or the nipple but not the breast, or the breast but not the nipple, who even remembers what it was at this point? I really didn't think it was a big deal. Now, with regard to specific statutes and laws, I agree with cities and states that have passed laws where if men are allowed to walk around topless, women are allowed to walk around topless. New York City is an example of one of those places. Now, you don't very often see women walking around topless, particularly because a lot of the year it's not that warm in New York City and nobody's walking around without a shirt on. But I think that does make sense. I mean, women's breasts have become very sexualized in Western culture, and that's okay. But I don't think that we should, as a result, be making them taboo and saying, okay, you can see this overweight dude who has gynecomastia, known colloquially as man boobs. That's okay. But this woman with small breasts, she needs to be covered up, even though the things on her chest are smaller than the dude's, merely because she's a woman. That makes no sense to me. I don't know where you are on the topless equality laws.
I'm with you on that 100%.
Yeah.
Exact same point of view.
Now, what about situations where nudity is used as a weapon, Lewis?
Well, what do you mean? What
Well,
do you mean by that?
maybe, for example, and I don't really mean as a weapon, but for example, a streaker, as we're taking a look at this picture here. Is the issue here that someone is just running on the baseball field, or is this being escalated by the fact that they are nude? In other words, if you say, all right, this person is trespassing.
So what you're kind of saying is using nudity for shock value.
Exactly, because oftentimes when you see a streaker, when someone runs onto the field, typically they're trespassing. When someone runs onto a baseball field and they're naked, it's trespassing plus indecent exposure often. In other words, the nudity is being used to shock. I'll be honest, I still don't have a problem with it. We're going to give someone a harsher punishment for trespassing onto a baseball field because they weren't wearing any clothes. I mean, it all seems very stupid to me.
Yeah, well, it just all goes back to religious-based laws. And, well, maybe not so much religious-based laws, but religion has kind of told us and sculpted us in such a way that we think it's improper, that nudity is just improper. And we discussed this before. It used to be that you couldn't even show your ankles, Dave.
Right.
Right? So I have no problem with it, but there is going to come a point when someone is walking around nude that there's a line that eventually will be crossed, right? I mean,
maybe in terms of how they're standing, for example, or something like that.
Right. And so I think no matter how liberal you are on this matter,
Interesting.
there is a line that can be crossed.
So you don't really see yourself caring about this, but all of a sudden, if someone's just standing on the street in some kind of trapeze artist-like position, I think we could all imagine what that might be like. All of a sudden, you might have a problem with what's going on.
That might be a little too much. Or if you're sitting on a bench at the bus stop, and the guy all of a sudden, someone's junk is on your shoulder.
Right.
I mean, there's
okay, but Lewis, you wouldn't be touching other people who don't want to be touched in public. We already have a system of laws in place. I don't know that it really. Well, I mean, I guess if it is a penis, then it is different. It could be
or
considered
on a
sexual
really
assault.
packed subway car
Yeah.
when you don't have room to move around and there is no more personal space, right?
Right. Yeah.
So how do you deal with those situations?
Very legitimate questions. Send me your thoughts on those. But broadly speaking, I don't really think about public nudity. It's not a big deal. Very few people are that interested in being nude in public. And many of those who are interested in doing it are interested in doing it only because of the shock value associated with it.
Right.
And if you totally destigmatize it, nobody would really care anymore.
GameFly is sort of like Netflix for video games. They have over 8,000 new and classic games for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, Wii, and a bunch of other platforms. And you can play as many games as you want for one monthly fee. And if you find some games you want to keep, you can buy them for a low used price. There's never any due dates or late fees. And our audience can get a free 30-day trial at gameflyoffer.com/TDPS. The games are shipped directly to you with return envelopes included. There's no contracts, and you can rent games through the mobile app. Get the free 30-day trial for the David Pakman Show audience and support our show by going to gameflyoffer.com/TDPS.